It was coming out every week and every month.
Okay.
That was the only one that was coming out during that time. Everybody else was late. Everybody else was doing everything, but Todd was on time. That's why Todd's books went so for much longer on the runs.
Yeah, but Todd also said that nobody else would ever do Spawn.
Yeah.
You see how quickly that lasted.
How long did that last? 9 issues?
No, 20-something issues.
20?
I think he bowed out at around 25.
As opposed to Eric Larson, who's on 278 issues.
Yeah, but Larson's Larson, and I don't even. I'm not even going to go there. You know, I mean, when Savage Dragon first came out, I loved Savage Dragon. I really did.
It was pretty good.
But I mean, I got all the way up to 100, and I said, you know what, this is something's not right here. And after that, he started going downhill real quick.
Yeah, dude got weird, man.
Yep.
Now he's way off in the left field.
Yeah.
So I'm just like,
left field and a pornographer.
Yep.
Yeah.
I mean, that was the thing. When he went adult, I was like, okay, nope, I'm not doing that.
That's not even adult. That's crazy stuff. I mean, that's not exactly vanilla.
You went borderline.
It's not exactly vanilla, you know.
James, what are you drawing, man?
I'm working on a new character of mine.
Well, who's the one on the left? Oh, you're right, my left.
That's Tits McGee.
This one?
Yeah.
That's one of her fire elementals, remember? That's one of her pets.
I like that look. I like that looking. It looks pretty good, man.
What's the girl's name?
Her name is Efrit.
I say it again.
Efrit.
Okay.
This is for the 24-hour thing, right?
This is for the thing that we're doing together. You know, we're taking the characters together.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Yeah, you know, you already gave me yours.
Yeah.
So this is
I'm confused, so I'm still working on it.
No, we haven't done the 24-hour thing because I was like, I didn't know if we were going to do it or not. So
no, I told you guys, I'm interfering.
Hey, Don, anything you want to talk about Spawn? Anything you want to tell us about Spawn before we move to Ghost Rider?
Spawn. Okay. My favorite issue, my favorite cover of Spawn was number 7 when he's all loaded up with the guns and everything. I thought that was, I hadn't really seen a costume character of that, I guess, context. You know, he's like supernatural, loaded up with weaponry like that. So I really like that. Favorite issue of Spawn was the one, I think it was number 9, where all the creators or their characters or hands are coming out of the jail and all that kind of stuff. That whole issue was about, I think he wrote it with Dave Sim. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. But it spoke to me as a independent creator, even before I was an independent creator. So yeah, I've always been a big fan of Todd McFarlane. I was a little sad to see him go when he went. Yeah, there you go. That's my cover right there. I love that cover.
Like we said before you showed up, like the fact that this was a character that could fire bolts and teleport and do all stuff, it made sense that he had guns because he was reluctant to use his powers.
Yeah, and the power meter, dude. I love that power meter. The fact that he had to keep his powers in mind every time he used it. Like he had to be reluctant. He wasn't just like super powerful, you know, and just, you know, do things without any kind of regard as the consequences as far as to himself or, you know, anything like that. Yeah, I like the whole idea of it, but I'm so far behind on my Spawn now, dude. I haven't really read it since, oh God.
I know exactly. I read up to 63.
Yeah, and it's not that I don't like or love the character anymore. It's just that honestly, I just don't have time to read comics anymore. I'm so freaking busy.
How about the if you pull up my picture real quick.
The omnibus.
Yeah, you know, James got omnibus there.
Yes, yeah, I got the first 4 omnibuses, which is the first like 2. I'm fixing to get there, but that's the omnibuses there.
So they got rid of that weakness of Spawn eventually, right?
Yeah, they got rid of the clock. So
no, he still got the dial. They brought it back. I think they brought it back.
Oh, really? I wouldn't.
Yeah, well, I've been catching Joe's show that he does like the Spawn review every week.
Yeah, Spawn's hot now.
I've been getting kind of caught up by him a little bit.
The thing is, Brett Booth's doing it now. So this is the character I'm working on right now. So this is the new character here that I did the design for.
Terrible segue, dude. Went from Brett Booth to you.
So I sent you a copy of it, Don.
I know you did. It's
Yeah.
not neat like that. Did you send me that copy where it's inked?
Oh, I just got this copy today. I'm going to get it.
Okay.
Clobbering time. Spawn. Don, what were you saying?
No, I would just, it's not that I don't love or like the character anymore. I just don't have a lot of time for it. I've been downloading the issues, kind of letting them collect, and I'm going to have to read them all digitally. But I don't know. I'm still a little bit miffed that Todd doesn't do the whole thing,
Yeah.
I know that's like a very
No,
dumb
but
thing to
that's
say, maybe.
that whole Image thing was sold that they were going to do their characters for for at least a long run, and then was ours, and this is what we want to do forever.
When he was on Spider-Man, I was into that. Like, a lot of people bitched about his writing. It wasn't the greatest thing, but he was just learning how to write, so I kind of forgave him for that.
Right, I agree.
But it was still good, and the artwork was phenomenal. And then I got this thing where when I get into a writer or an artist, whether they're a team or working solo on a book, if they get off the book, I usually get off the book too, as far as readership goes. I'm just like, I'm done with it. That's how it was when X-Men, when Jim Lee and Claremont left. It was I stayed on for Lee a little bit right after till he went to like 11. And then why do I got a little thumbs up?
I don't know.
I don't know what's going on with that.
But so let me ask you this:
Go ahead.
if Spawn pulls power from this meter that may or may not exist in issue 300, because Spawn is up to like he crossed 300 issues.
Oh, 300. It's 360 now.
360. So he's
is it really that high now? Wow.
Yeah.
But, I also must clarify, because a couple of people were correcting me. It is not the longest continuous run in comic book history. It's the longest in a non-Marvel and DC comic book.
It's the longest running independent.
I'm not even calling it independent. Image, once they have movies made,
you're
not an independent company.
You know what?
What point is Marvel and DC not independent? So Image Comics is a major studio. So
I can agree with that.
Independent is even Dark Horse, in my mind, is no longer independent.
To me, I like to call them the corporate independent.
Right. They're corporate comics.
Like, and they go like, Dennis Turner buys all the comics, and I'm doing the indies. This is from Image. I go, Dennis, it's not it's not really an indie. Like, you could say it's a corporate indie because it's not Marvel or DC. But the true indies are the 4 people that are doing comics right now.
That's besides the point.
And one author of novels.
So I just want to say a run is a continuous team. Like Jack Kirby, Stan Lee did 102 issues of the Fantastic Four. That's a run. John Byrne did a run. I forget the exact numbers. That's a run. It's only so Spawn. It's a continuous like it or not. Eric Larson has 278 comics of a run because he's the guy. It
is a run, yeah.
Right now, Dave Sim has the longest record of 300 consecutive issues as the longest run, and for whatever reason, there's something wrong with Eric Larson. He wants to beat that, so he wants to get to 301. I don't know. Is he going to cancel Savage Dragon? Might as well. It's not selling, and it kind of ruined his career because whatever. But Spawn is the longest running non-Marvel DC comic, but it's not a run because you had Greg Capullo, you had Neil Gaiman, you had other people writing this comic. It's not a run.
One thing I'm going to say about what I think's wrong with Eric Larson is there's 2 types of Eric Larson. There's the Eric Larson before his house burnt down.
Yeah, I agree.
And there's Eric Larson after his house burnt down. And when his house burnt down, all of his original Spider-Man artwork, all of his original stuff went with it.
Collector.
He lost it all. And I think that kind of shock of losing all that affects you.
Oh, yeah.
And I think that's what I said. There's a difference in Eric Larson. There's the Eric Larson before the burning of the house, and then the Eric Larson after the house burnt down.
I joke, and I was saying, like, if my house burns down and I lose everything, I'm going to be a completely different person. I tell you this with all honesty. I would hate comic books. If all my comic books burnt down and I survived and my wife survived and my cat survived, I'll be grateful for that. But it's just like, well, the comic book John is over with. Now I'm probably going to be like stock market John. You know what I mean? Like, I don't even want to hear, I'm not going to see Marvel movies. I'm not going to, you know what I mean? I wouldn't want, so I understand that is when you have a lifelong hobby, that's part of you. When I was considering selling my comic collection to buy my house a couple of years ago, I got depressed. Like, what do I do? Like, and I was actually telling my wife, it's like, I can't collect comics anymore. I'm not going to buy comics if all my comics are, and this was something I was going to sell to make our life better. You know what I mean? And then luckily we didn't, because that real estate agent was a piece of crap. But anyway, long story short,
you guys wait till tomorrow when we do the show tomorrow. I'm completely different now, because I suffered some shock today. I went up to the store to get some groceries, and the eggs was like $10 for a frigging 18 count. So I'm in shock. I'm in shock, and tomorrow y'all gonna see it. I'm gonna be mean as hell.
You're in egg shock. Okay,
That's
so
right. I've been shell shocked.
it's shell shock. So I want to ask you guys. Again, I'm not the best Spawn expert in the world, but there's two things I want to address. So it is a mantle. There are other spawns. There's King Spawn in the medieval time. There's Gunslinger Spawn. So this Maljaboa really he makes like these Hell Knights or whatever. Is that like Spawn's title, or am I imagining?
Well, it's actually, his title is Hell's Spawn.
He's a Hell Spawn. That
Right. That's the actual title that's what his title is.
perfect.
And he's supposed to be the general of Malboja's army, or Hell's army.
Yeah.
Do you understand?
Yeah. So
He's supposedly the leader of the group, not just the group. He's the leader.
So this breaks. I usually have a rule, like I don't like multiple characters with this. Like, I don't want to see Superman, Super Baby, Super Dog, Super Cousin. You know what I mean? Like, to me, it dilutes. I will accept the female version. So Superman, Supergirl, that's fine. But like 9,000 Green Lanterns, to me, if there's alien broccoli headed Green Lantern, that's fine. He's on his alien.
That's kind of different though, John. I mean, Green Lantern's a corp, you know.
But there's
not
7
like
people
there's-
on Earth.
But there's 4 or 5 human Green Lanterns there
Yeah,
That's
that's
overdoing
at the
it.
same time. So
Yeah.
Jessica Cruz, and then some Muslim guy, and
There
then
should be just
Stewart,
one.
and then Guy
There should be
Gardner,
just one Green Lantern, human, Earth.
right. There should be one.
That zone.
Vector
Just one.
2814.
But Spawn, because of it's built into the concept, I will accept other. You know what I mean? If you build it into the concept, like every rule can be broken. Like I talk about my superhero rules, and then in Punchline we have the character Versima that breaks every one of my rules, and I freaking love that character. But like Spawn, it's that's. I do think it's a brilliant concept. It's got that pathos that James was talking about. You feel bad for him. He's a horribly disfigured monster, but you feel bad for him because I'm a sucker for what I call the Pinocchios, the characters that just want to be a real boy. And Spawn, I never thought of it until just now, is a Pinocchio. He wants to be he'd give it all up for a minute just to go and be with, I forget his wife's name again, but you know, Wanda, just to be with Wanda again. You know, that gets me, like Ben Grimm. You know, I put Hellboy in.
Don fits that.
What's that?
Don fits a Pinocchio.
Don just wants to be a real boy. Don just
That's
wants
it.
I just want to grow up, man.
but I love that.
I don't want to grow up. I want to be a Toys R Us kid forever.
Hey, good battle tonight. I don't even fool with superheroes. We were just talking about that on my last chat. It seems like sci-fi is the thing right now. But anyway, so I like the fact that there can be other Hellspawn, and it kind of makes sense. But they would be his enemies. You know what I mean? So there would be other Hellspawns that would try to drag him. Is there other good spawns? I don't really know.
There's
Gunslinger's on his side.
Gunslinger, and there's the she spawn. Those two.
She's
Are-
born. Oh Lord.
And how long have they been active?
There's a he-she spawn.
Well, the Gunslinger and Gunslinger's been around since like the 1800s.
They them spawn.
Now, that begs the question: why would Malbolgia keep making spawns if they stay good? Like, is it just
Because they're rebelling against him.
He gets lonely.
No, you have to understand, when a spawn goes good, like say Gunslinger spawn or she spawn or the medieval spawn, when they go against what he wants. When they turn against him, he has to make another one to replace them.
Okay.
You know, so that's why he has multiple violators, because if a Hellspawn goes against him, he'll send violators to deal with them.
Also, it helps with the merchandising.
That's true.
Did you ever read Brat Pack? The Rick White comic?
Yes, I've read that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
God,
why they always
that's a deep cut from the 80s.
yeah, he needed to keep the sidekicks active because
After they got killed.
so they would get killed, they would have to recruit another one because of merchandising.
Got to keep the toy line going,
Like
man.
that was the worst comic ever.
Oh yeah, that's a good way to put it. So anyway, my last question about Spawn, and I'm asking because I don't really know. Now, Spawn has that power meter. Could he just, take out the old straw, suck up that power, and like take out the Hulk, or give Superman a run for his money?
Yeah, he could.
Okay,
It wouldn't last long, but he could.
okay.
I don't know, man.
You
gotta ask yourself. See, I love those discussions about what would these heroes do when confronted with each other. But in my mind, I'd be like, why?
Well,
Why would they bother? I mean,
yes, I understand. But he was asking, would they be able to do it? Think about it.
I don't know though. Spawn's power is for Superman, yeah, definitely, because he's magic, and Superman has a weakness. He got a weakness against magic. The Hulk, I don't know, man. The Hulk might clean the floor with him.
Well,
grab a hold of that cape.
Okay, let's put it this way: the Death Star materializes, and it's going to fire the super laser and destroy the Earth. Could Spawn suck up the power and destroy the Death Star? You know what I mean? Like
he couldn't absorb it. No, it'd probably tear it apart.
I don't know.
I think Spawn does have limits. I think there's a limit that everyone can go to. There's a limit, and I don't see Spawn being that powerful. Now, yes. In the books, he did beat Malebolgia. That's how he got the clock taken out.
Oh, he did? Okay. Do you remember what issue?
Oh, God.
I mean, it's fine if you don't remember.
I want to say it's around 100.
Okay, so that I didn't get there yet. Okay.
Yeah, so, he does fight Malebolgia and take over. Yeah. And then, but, for him to really, the thing that he's got, and it may not be in there anymore, but he's still got that human personality of the heart. So he's not going to just go ape shit nuts.
Yes, he still has a grounded base.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm surprised, man. If it was me and I came back as Spawn and I saw that my best friend had married my wife, it would not last very long. I'm sorry. I got the power. I got the power of hell at my whim. I'm using the whole power meter to F that dude up, man.
Though, Don. I thought that his buddy that took his wife was the one that betrayed and got him killed.
No, Chapel killed him.
You see, so I misremembered. So I was with you for a minute.
But at least that's how it was. They could have changed it because I think
it wasn't.
You know who has the power of Spawn? James, Don, Marcus. You know who has the power of Spawn? And sometimes uses it for good, sometimes uses it for evil. It's Matt Barr.
Oh boy! Oh God! We went that far, did we?
Turn your mic on, Matt. So
how's that?
That's better. Now we can.
Hi, Matt. How you doing?
What's up, fellas?
Hey, Matt. What's up?
So since you're the newcomer and we're talking about Spawn, do you got anything to say that we didn't bring up?
Fuck, I said, "What's up, fellas?" And you were like, "Hey, come on in." And I was like, "Okay." And I went and talked to my wife, and then came and hopped in. So I have no idea what you were saying for the last fucking 10 minutes. I was talking to my wife.
So we were just talking about I think all of us. It's safe to say that one of our favorite things about Spawn was he had this meter that was like counting down to doom. To me, it added drama and tension.
Yeah, there was a cool element to that clicker, that time clock kind of thing, but I don't think that lasted very long, right? I think it lasted to issue 10 or something like that.
We were just talking.
It went a little bit further than that. I think it was more like 35 or 40.
Was it? Okay, so it ends. It goes pretty quick,
right? Like I don't know how people feel about a Doctor Who, but when I was watching Doctor Who, they established somewhere in the Tom Baker years that the Time Lords only had 14 regenerations, and it made it
Not anymore.
exciting. And I was like, oh wow, and then when they brought it back with Eccleston and Matt Smith, you're like, they're getting close to 14. And then in the Matt Smith run, they just they just gave him energy. It regenerate all you want, and to me, it kind of lost a bit. I knew, they're not going to kill off their cash cow, but like, still knowing that there's a possibility of an end makes it sense. Same with Spawn. When they got rid of that clicker, I kind of lost interest in Spawn.
I asked my wife, I was like, yeah, I'm gonna go in there, and she's like, what's going on? I was like, Spawn, Ghost Rider, and she's like, what are Spawn's powers? And I was like,
oh, your wife is a comic person too?
Say what?
Your wife is into comics too?
No, not really, but she's through osmosis. She's like aware of stuff. She's picked up a couple of comic books in the bathroom and got them out of the way. So I mean, she knows who these characters are. She's not a complete idiot, but she kind of caught me there with like, so what are Spawn's powers? And I was just like, he's got like there's like green stuff going on. He's got like some green energy. He can like teleport. I was just like, yeah, I don't know. He doesn't really got the juice like specifics. Like Ghost Rider has like the stare, and he has like
Yeah, well, so that's what we were talking. I was asking it at the beginning when it was just Marcus and Don and I. I always thought that the base, like when I say baseline, meaning he's not pulling power from the meter, I always thought Spawn did have like a measure of super strength. But Don says no.
Yeah.
I mean, James says no. So I thought he was like durable, like his costume was always.
Yeah, I thought he had some.
His costume itself has powers of its own.
Right, his costume has like some sort of will of its own.
And at one point, he was like, "Oh, don't pull on your own power. Your finite power, pull from the suit." So at one point, it was like, "Oh yeah, like I don't need to fuck with my meter. I could be using my suit's juice."
And then we were talking about how he started using military weapons, stuff like that, because he didn't want to, hasten his demise to Mal Jabal, which I thought was, like I said, I have rules for superheroes, and as Cable breaks all my rules in a way that I can't stand, but Spawn breaks the rules in a way that I think is really clever. His costume is not simple and elegant to the point Todd addressed it and made it part of his who he is. He had guns, but it worked. And now there's even more of them. But I think it's kind of brilliant in a way. Mal Jabal is making an army of Hell Knights. So there you go.
No, is Mal Bolgia still alive? I thought he was.
He's dead.
I thought he was dead, right? Yeah. At some point, like Spawn becomes like, it's like, okay, there's heaven and hell. Well, he's now going to become the avatar of nature, which is more powerful than both, or something like that. Was like when I was like, what the fuck is going on? Spawn became
Swamp Thing?
I don't know. Maybe. I remember him like being impaled on a sign. Like this giant thing came, impaled him, and he was dead. But then like flowers and shit started growing out of him.
So he did become Swamp Thing. he dated a girl named Abby. I mean,
it became Spawn Thing.
The thing is I like the differences in the Spawns, especially their backstories. Like Jim Palliano is writing the backstory of Gunslinger Spawn, and to me, it's more a lot like High Plains Drifter.
Okay,
you know what I'm saying?
That sounds good.
The book's fantastic. It's a good Western.
About it.
But I mean, it's all in the West. Back in the 1800s, and it is really good. And I've been very impressed with it. So, hats off to him. Hats off to Jimmy and them. They did a great job on it.
So is he another good guy that kind of gets corrupted and accepts the deal?
No, he wasn't a good guy. He was like right there. He was like a Jesse James. He was a good guy to some and an outlaw to others. And he got.
I'll be back in a minute.
Okay. He got jacked, and he wanted to save his girl, and that was how the deal was made.
In High Plains Drifter was Eastwood? Was he a preacher in High Plains Drifter?
No, he was the sheriff that was murdered.
Okay, yeah, and he comes back as like a avenging kind of spirit.
Yeah.
What's the one where he's a preacher and then ends up just fucking
Pale Rider?
shocking every Pale Rider? Okay.
But he died in that one
Damn,
too.
Clint
Dead in
Eastwood
that
is
one.
the shit.
What was that?
I said Clint Eastwood is the shit.
Dude, Clint Eastwood, man. I mean, I'd have loved to seen him and Charles Bronson in a Western together because you have Once Upon a Time in the West,
Yeah.
you have The Good, Bad, and the Other. Oh my God. Those
You
two
know, I
guys-
was like reading this article about Charles Bronson recently, and it was talking about some of the other like Hollywood stars there at the time and how they were all like working out on the DL. You know what I mean? It was like they didn't want to be known being like, yeah, I fucking work out. So they're just like, oh, I'm just, I'm Steve McQueen. I'm just naturally yoked. Or I'm Charles Bronson. I'm just naturally fucking yoked out like this. Yul Brynner. I'm just naturally yoked. Like, nah, bro. They were all like secretly working out and shit. It's kind of funny that they were like, are you working out? No, I'm not working out. I'm naturally like this. Like,
he was. I would. If somebody told me he was on steroids, I would believe it. There's pictures where he is like superhero jacked.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah, dude.
But with like an old man face still. Like he's never had like a young face. He's always had like an old man.
He never had a young face.
No,
I mean,
he was the oldest 12-year-old in his class.
When you see him in Once Upon a Time in the West, he is so young in that movie, but he looks like he's freaking 35, 40 years old in it.
Yeah. Yeah. Or Dirty Dozen. Like it's like, bro.
Oh yeah, Dirty Dozen.
Like you're supposed to be like 20, 21 in Dirty Dozen. You look like you're fucking 50, bro.
I know. He just looked like the badass uncle that you didn't want to fuck with.
Dude. Yeah.
Right, so let's move on to our other guy. We'll move on to Ghost Rider here. I just Google. So of course everybody's gonna ask which version of Ghost Rider. So we'll start with the Johnny Blaze version. Anybody want to talk about Ghost Rider first?
Well, you go ahead, John. You know more about him than most of us, probably.
Okay, Ghost Rider. Again, in all transparency, I love Ghost Rider. I like Spawn, so consider the source. But Ghost Rider is a comic that like I got two older brothers. They're both motorcycle guys, so there was always Ghost Rider comics in my house as a kid. My two older brothers are big Harley guys, and they were showing me pictures of Johnny Blaze as Ghost Rider, like, look, this is a Harley, and explaining to me why this is a Harley, not a Honda. So I'm talking to myself. I'm a wee little kid, so I always like Ghost Rider. Now, so Ghost Rider started in Marvel Spotlight #5, right, Marcus?
That's right, Mike Plug.
Mike Plug, and was it the same guy, Anton Drake? Was that the who?
No, I think no, I don't think it was
Gary Friedrich.
Yeah, I think it was Gary Friedrich. Yeah,
Gary Friedrich and Mike Plug did the first Ghost Rider.
And then at that time,
what? Mike Plug? I did not know that, dude.
I didn't know that either.
I'm like Plug. I'm like the storyboarder, the fucking conceptual artist. Mike
Plug. He did a lot of comics.
Mike Plug did Werewolf by Night. He
did like
wow.
He did at least a dozen issues of Werewolf by Night, Frankenstein.
Dude, I've got a Mike Plug art book that has like no Marvel shit in it. It's just all
Mike Plug is phenomenal. Mike Plug, Mike Plug and Frank Bruner are two of like the most unsung Marvel artists.
I met Frank. once.
Did you? I'd like to meet Frank Bruner. He's really good.
I was standing there and he showed up and he was all bent out of shape where his table was.
What else do you know about
my fucking table?
Here's the other thing you know about Mike Plug. Who did he assist before he broke into comics? Will Eisner.
Oh, you did? Yeah, that's right.
Oh my god, dude!
You know how I knew that?
There you go. Right?
Oh my god!
He drew
Legacy.
He had a female character named Topaz in a Werewolf by Night, and I said, this girl looks like she was drawn by Will Eisner. So I looked it up, and that's how I found out that Mike Plug was an assistant to Will Eisner. She looks like Sans Serif and Ellen Dolan. Will Eisner has an old-fashioned yet timeless beauty to his women.
And they're all sirens for sure. They're all dangerous.
On PS Magazine.
Yes. And I think did he do Mad Magazine or was it Crazy? He did one of those humor spoof magazines for a while too, Plug. But I maybe not.
Crazy? Was he Crack? Was he in Crack magazine?
Marvel. Crazy was Marvel, right? So he probably did Crazy. Maybe I'm talking out of my butt. But anyway, back to Ghost Rider. So Johnny Blaze is a stunt rider back in the 70s when, guys, motorcycles were the coolest thing.
Yeah.
There was a really weird little dune buggy phase, and then that kind of left, and then it was motorcycles. I think
Spider buggy.
Yeah, Spider Buggy was a dune buggy. Yeah, there was a Chopper in the wheelie bunch. You know, there was motorcycles.
I remember Choppy.
Yep.
I remember Chopper.
And I think it was Easy Rider ushered in like this motorcycle craze. You know,
Yeah.
with Peter
And
Fonda.
Evil Knievel. You had Evil Knievel.
Oh, Evil Knievel was
fucking
the bomb.
huge.
Man.
Oh my God, Evil Knievel.
I had the toys and everything.
Yeah.
Everybody my age, Marcus, you had that wind up Evil Knievel toy.
Oh
right?
yeah, yeah.
Dude,
yeah,
even
I
if
was-
you look at some of Evil Knievel's early outfits, they kind of look like
superheroes
or
outfit.
Ghost
Well, he
Riders.
was like
Yeah,
a
they
little
got like this
superhero,
leather
Evil Knievel.
flap in the
Yep.
front, you know.
He was like a superhero, and you saw those ads in the back of the comics for the toys.
Yeah.
That was drawn by Joe Sinnott.
Oh, word.
I have
Just
a lot
imagine that
of
gig,
knowledge.
dude. Like Joe's sitting there and like, hey man, could you do a quick
Yeah.
ad for Evil Knievel this afternoon? You know what I mean? It's just like, yeah,
Dude,
right.
some of those ads were pretty cool.
He they did a lot of toy ads. Buscema did it, and Jack Kirby did some toy ads.
Did
Romita
you
did
guys
toy
ever
ads.
see
Yeah,
the-
Yeah.
The
Joe
episode,
Orlando with the fucking sea monkeys, dude.
Joe
I was
Orlando,
like,
Sea
what?
Monkey. Well,
I'll tell you,
right up Joe
when
Orlando's
you're
awesome.
talking
See,
about
hippies
Jack
is
Kirby,
better.
did you guys did you ever watch The Incredible Hulk? There's an episode where they have a police sketch artist in
Yeah,
there,
I've seen
and
that.
it's Jack Kirby drawing.
Jack
Yeah.
Kirby.
Yeah, he's actually on screen.
He looks like Tombstone or Blockhead, doesn't he? He's like Kirby.
Yeah, he's got that haircut
fucking
and everything.
squared off head.
Yeah. I was like, holy
He does.
cow.
He had that flat
Jack
hair.
Kirby.
Yeah.
Jack Kirby looks like every guy that the mafia sends after you to get the money that you owe them. You know, like, oh my God,
He fought the mafia.
Yeah, I'll tell you the funniest thing that I think it was like an homage is when they actually introduced the one above all, and it's Jack Kirby sitting at his desk.
Yeah, that was
I
Mark.
was like,
There was
oh,
a story
yeah.
that Will Eisner said. So Will is he's got his Eisner and Iger shop in the 40s in New York City, and when Jack Kirby worked for him, you know, and Will told the story, and he put in a comic that the mob was coming to shake him down. That's how the mob made their money, was to collect a weekly fig from the pizza guy and from the plumber and, you know, plumbing company and everything. They were coming to the comics, and Will is all nervous, and he's starting to pay these guys. Well, Jack got a hold of it, and Jack is like 5'3", and these guys are monstrous. And he goes right up to them. Don't you do this ever again? You come down here and you'll answer to me.
Yeah. It was in the Dreamer.
Yeah, it was. He put that in that book, right? That's right.
Yeah.
But he
Oh
told
my
the
God, I
deals
love the Dreamer.
before we
dude.
put it in that book. That's
So
a true
anyway,
story.
back to Ghost Rider. So Johnny Blaze is a stunt bike rider, and that was all the rage back then. You know, this was Evil Knievel was gonna ride over Snake Canyon. You know, Evil Knievel would, you know, jump over buses. You know, Fonzie's jumping the shark and jumping school buses on his motorcycle. That's
right. Motorcycles were very big.
Motorcycle.
I still got a motorcycle. Thank you very much.
Oh, you
Do
do?
you?
Yes, I do.
On one, but anyway, the
I'm in my 50s, dude. I still ride.
well, you started. You don't start riding a motorcycle when you're 56. You started riding in your 20s, probably, right?
No, I started at 5.
There you go. There you
Well,
go.
okay.
Younger the better. So Johnny Blaze is doing stunts, and what I never really understood. He sells his soul to the devil to become like more famous or whatever.
No.
His
He
dad.
sold to the
His
devil
dad.
because
His
he
dad.
was, he was saving his stepfather, Rocky.
Right. That's right. So
Rocky was going to die of a massive heart. Had a massive heart attack at one of their shows. And
That's right.
he was in love with the daughter,
Roxanne.
Roxanne, and Rocky was the dad.
Yeah. So
And-
he sells his soul to the devil to
Right.
save Roxanne's dad, Rocky Simpson, because that's right. Johnny was like kind of an orphan who grew up
yeah, that was
Carnival,
like
right?
his-
carnival kind of thing. So this was like his surrogate dad. And then of course, Rocky doesn't, you know, he doesn't die of the heart attack. He dies in a stunt crash. And
Yeah,
then,
he still pieces out.
yeah. And then Johnny becomes the Ghost Rider. And if you ask me, they didn't know what to do with Ghost Rider in those early days.
Yeah.
At first, at night, he turned into the Ghost Rider, and then later on, he turned into Ghost Rider whenever there was evil nearby, and then eventually it settled on he could transform at will kind of thing. And just like the Hulk, they didn't know what to do with the Hulk originally. Originally, the Hulk turned into Hulk at night, and then he turned into the Hulk stepping on that machine, and they settled on Rage, and then the Hulk took off. So Ghost, and then he got his own comic, and his own comic, like they just had multiple teams every couple of issues, and it was bi-monthly, and it was on the verge of cancellation for so long. To me, it really didn't hit its stride until those Don Perlin took over as the artist.
They had some controversy with Jim Shooter because they had Jim Mooney was drawing it, and then Frank Roberts was drawing it. Frank was not a draw at that point, and
Right.
Tony Isabella was writing it, and Tony decided that he was going to really meet the real Satan, and then had a whole line where he was searching for Jesus.
Right.
Not quite unlike the Swamp Thing that we talked about last week. Shooter is like, no, we're not doing that. We're not going to be that obvious. And Tony was Roman Catholic, and they had to change it. That was his biggest controversy. Yeah, it seemed like I got a lot of those comics. It seemed like it limped along for a long time. And then, Don Perlin and Bob Budiansky did it for a long, a huge run.
Yeah, that's when I fell in love with those comics. The Don Perlin, John Mooney,
Jim Mooney.
Jim Mooney. I said John. Yeah, those were so good, so creepy, so moody. So, what powers did Ghost Rider have? Anybody want to take this?
Well, Ghost Rider had the eventually
penance.
Stare.
The stare of penance.
That was the second Ghost. That was Danny Ketch, right?
Danny Ketch had the penance stare.
Yeah,
but Johnny Blaze had the Hellfire, and he would shoot the Hellfire out of his. The Hellfire created his motorcycle, either made his motorcycle full of flame or created a motorcycle, depending on who wanted to draw it. And then the high fire, and they would go so cold, because it was really burning your soul.
Right, it wasn't real fire.
Burning you, especially if you're evil.
Right.
And then he didn't have powers, super strong powers. I feel at the beginning they didn't give him strength. And then when he joined up with the champions, that he started doing, I guess he could pick up a car at some point.
Right. Yeah.
But he wasn't originally. He would get like, and he used to think like Johnny Blaze when he was Ghost Rider, and Johnny be like, "What am I doing? I don't know. What am I doing with these powers?" Like kind of like a Peter Parker thing.
Mm-hmm.
And eventually he became kind of a creepy Ghost Rider, a different personality.
Like a Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde kind of thing. Like,
right. That's where they were really confused.
But one of the things I liked is in that Marvel Super Villains team up, they established that he was dead. He didn't breathe. He didn't eat. He didn't need to sleep. Like he wasn't affected by telepathy. This was
Ghost Rider?
Yeah.
Yeah, he was hard to kill. You couldn't really stab him because he was
you stabbed him, you shot him. There was no heart and organs to damage.
Yeah, he was bones.
Yeah, he was. His suit was just held together by like a spectral, force.
Yeah, I mean, not to get, but he's like a tormented angel or something. Is that?
Yeah,
yes.
Yeah.
Eventually they show like, oh, it's an angel that has been corrupted and twisted. So I mean, he's got some like.
Right.
Celestial juice. You know what I mean? He's got some divine.
But I love
power.
Like if I was to write Ghost Rider, one of the things I would bring, like Johnny Blaze a few times, and I don't think they really dwelled on it, but they said like he literally burnt to death every time he turned into Ghost Rider. It was a painful, horrible transformation.
Yeah, the Hellfire burned his soul.
I like that.
And
scratching at the door.
And then when he turned back at, when Ghost Rider turned back into Johnny Blaze, he resurrected. He came. I would play with that a lot. Like just think about the power involved, the power levels of literally dying every time you use your powers, and literally coming back to life when you're finished using the power. It's so freaking cool. There's so much to explore with Ghost Rider. I don't think Ghost Rider ever had the great story. Like if I say Spider-Man to you, you guys could just like a machine gun.
That's that one story that Jim Starlin did when he raced death.
that is my
That was a
favorite
villain
Ghost
issue, but that might be the best story of the original Ghost Rider run.
Rider. And it was an inventory issue.
Yeah, it was fantastic. That story.
That is
See, I don't even think about stories. I think about like artists,
Right,
You
there
know,
you
and
go.
like
Well,
I'm like,
I do the
I
same
think of
thing.
Ghost Rider. I'm like, oh, Mark Texeira. Holy
Right,
shit!
yeah,
like
that's
that. You know,
That's the second Ghost Rider.
yeah.
So we got a bunch of people watching right now. Can anybody? What is the definitive Ghost Rider story? To me, that's the biggest problem.
Got to
with
be
Ghost Rider.
something probably a Mark
That's a
like a
really
Mark
good question.
Teixeira story or a Spirits of Vengeance comic when the Kubert
Mhm.
Joe Kubert inked.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, those are just brutal. I mean, maybe it wasn't the stories. Maybe it was just a graphic of Ghost Rider. It's so exciting, you know.
He's got to be one of the coolest.
It's a gnarly fucking character. It's
Yeah,
a
I think
he's
gnarly
like
image.
a-
It's so dude. It's so dope to draw.
I didn't
Yeah, I
know
love
that a cop was a Ghost Rider at one time.
Who?
I'm looking at Wikipedia, dude. Michael Baldolino,
Oh,
an
yeah.
member of the NYPD, one third of the organic medallion of power. The other two are Catch and Blaze. The medallion itself was never explained in any true detail. He possesses powers more in line with those of the Serathos version of Ghost Rider. So this must be the dude with the blue flame.
The Serathos
Yeah.
version is Johnny Blaze.
He
Yeah.
also has the Penistair, and his motorcycle seems to share characteristics with the Noble Kale version. His appearance is distinguished by a deep purple skull, large fan. Oh, that guy, large purple.
Is he
fang.
new?
Yeah,
Is this more recent? Because I don't know this.
yeah. This is more recent. This is from Ghost Rider Volume 3. He goes by the name Vengeance.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Okay. He later becomes Vengeance. Okay. He's
Is this
bigger.
when Ghost Rider is driving around in a car?
No, that's Robbie Reyes.
That's Robbie Reyes.
Okay.
But Vengeance,
You know,
I remember he
It
could like
might be
open
the
up
same
his
time. I don't know.
ribs and like grab you with his ribs. Right? I always thought was kind of scary.
Well, we could talk a little about the Javier Salatares Mark.
Go
They
ahead.
remade him Howard Mackey with Javier Salatares, and then of course Mark Teixeira inked Salatares until they were brother-in-laws at that time. So
Dude, this is a story that I heard, and I don't know if you heard it. And this was like something told to me in class as like a cautionary tale. Was that the dude who was penciling Ghost Rider was getting poopy pants about how Mark was inking his shit. Like he was like, "Yo, man, he's like inking my shit, and it's making it look like his art." And so they were like, "Well, you know, they like his stuff, so you're off the book." And they like gave Mark. So the story that I heard was like, if somebody's inking your shit and you don't like it, don't say anything. Just
Hey,
fucking finish
I
your
heard that
job
they were-
and fucking move on.
Do you
And I
like
was
the pay?
like,
Do you like your
I
pay?
heard that they were brother-in-law.
mm.
That's what I heard, but I didn't hear that. I did hear that Teixeira, he did all that work, like tons and tons of work. All of a sudden, was because they made so much money on Ghost Rider, even inking it or taking it over. It was such a big book, but he never paid taxes on any of the money. And then you have to do quarterly. You're an artist, a professional artist. You got to do quarterly taxes.
Yeah, bro.
And he owed the IRS a lot of money, and that's when Maverick came out, and he threw out those Wolverines, and because he was making enough money to pay off the tax man.
Holy shit. Dude, you have to pay the IRS. They will
Oh,
come
yes.
for you.
Oh yes. Oh yes. Oh,
He's
yes.
supposed to be a
Don't
nice
get rid
guy.
of him. And
My
then-
writer met him up in Mount Kisco, New York, working out like now 94. Then when I did that comic,
Mhm.
96, 97. He's a nice guy. Like the comic.
Yes, I remember getting tax returns, but that is so far gone now.
Oh well. Anyway, well, we don't have to worry. Doji's going to destroy the IRS, and then we can all keep our money.
Yeah, I hope.
Well,
So,
I think
so
eventually
Ghost,
we'll
so I know that the Johnny Blaze
That's a whole
Ghost
nother
Rider,
show. Yeah.
he can blast fire now, but the fire, it's like I call it like quantum fire. It's regular fire unless it's not fire. So he could light fires and cause fires and make regular fire, but he could also use hellfire, and hellfire like burns your soul, and like to me, like the hellfire, like even if you're Iron Man, you're gonna get hurt by hellfire. It's gonna hurt you because it's like spiritual damage.
Yeah, it's supernatural, right? It's
Right,
gonna
yeah.
affect you. It's gonna affect Iron Man.
And the more
Um,
evil you are, the more damage it always did. You know, like
That's right.
you know what I mean? So Doctor Doom is really going to get messed up by hellfire as opposed to like Superman, who's going to be like, hey, that stings. Knock it off. That's that. that Hellfire kind of hurt. Like, and Marcus said he either had a real motorcycle or he could create out of fire.
I remember that Frank Robbins went like this, and he made his own motorcycle.
Now, Danny Ketch, he had that big motorcycle with the shield in front. And
yeah, that's so you don't have to draw the motorcycle. See, that's the key to motorcycles. You make one of those ones where you cover it all up and you don't have to draw.
Fucking asshole, lazy piece of shit. But I say goddamn lazy piece of shit, but I'm not drawing it for monthly. If I was drawing it monthly, they'd be like, can I draw a giant fucking shield on the front of this motorcycle that doesn't exist?
Yeah, that's why the Fantastic Car was a flying bathtub. You know?
Yeah,
dude, it makes so much sense. When you look at those designs, I'm like, why do they fucking make these simple ass designs? And then now I'm like, oh yeah, I get it. You gotta fucking crank those pages out. You're just fucking.
It's like in the 50s when they had the spaceships and they're like just the long tubes and stuff. I was like, man, these guys look stupid. And you start drawing stuff, and you're like going, hey, that's a smart idea.
Exactly. I'm like, man, I ain't got time for all this shit here. Let me just, that's smart. Yeah.
So
yeah,
Danny Ketch, he had the same powers as Johnny Blaze, but he also had the penance stare. Anybody want to explain the penance stare?
I'm doing it now.
I feel guilty.
You basically felt like he would stare at you and you would feel all the pain that you would cause other people.
Yes.
Right. So any everything that you had dished out, you were catching it right there, all in one big shot.
Yeah, like in the comic books, Galactus was weakened. They had Doctor Strange hit him with all the guilt, but in the cartoons, Ghost Rider drove up and stared Galactus, and Galactus felt, the collective guilt of all of the destruction that he
fucking
caused.
Planets, wow,
to pass out. So just imagine like staring at like Mao Zedong or something like that, and he just gets inflicted for like a minute of all of the horrors and evils that he caused all at once. That is just a horrific power. Again, would that affect Spider-Man? Well, maybe Spider-Man, because like guilt is his weakness, but like Captain America or like Reed Richards or something like that, the penance stare might give him because all human beings have something of regret. But like,
call it Captain America. I feel like Captain America carries a whole bunch of shit that he probably doesn't need to.
Yeah, because he's a good guy. But
he's such a good guy. He's like, I could have saved that one guy.
Right.
I could have saved that
other guy.
But could you imagine if Ghost Rider went up to the Red Skull and did the penance stare? The Red Skull would just explode. All the horror that he caused.
Yeah.
Or even the Punisher.
But here's the question: if they're crazy enough that they did all that damage and stuff, case in point, Red Skull, would it really affect him since he's that crazy?
Well, there was a villain he had called Madcap that was a masochist, and he actually enjoyed the penance.
Yeah.
But only a comic creator could figure that out. All the crazy guys that we have around.
You're
right.
Galactus just sees us as ants. He sees us as chocolate-covered ants.
Right.
Spawn is undead. So is Ghost Rider. Does he have a soul? Yeah. I would say he has a soul. Like, he has free will. He has a soul. Like, I would say
free will, but like if you're talking like in the comic book sense of like a soul, like, does he still have one? Is it in a jar on a shelf somewhere? I
would say it's like on a chain. It's on like a spiritual chain, so that it can. But if that was the case, then Maljibo could just yank it. Like, as soon as you show any type of rebellion.
Are we talking Spawn? Or are we talking Ghost Rider?
The question was about Spawn.
Now we're back at Spawn.
Yeah, we're flip flopping.
Okay, we're flip flopping. Actually, Malbosia had some control over him.
Okay,
blackmail, but I don't remember what it was. But I remember when they had the big fight, there was something he had, but Spawn got past it and was able to defeat him. But
so Maljibo is not his master, otherwise he wouldn't be able to rebel.
Right.
Well, he is the deal maker.
Yeah, he's the maker of the deal. Yeah,
but he's not the high. He's not Satan.
No, he's below Satan.
He's like some fucking
like
some lieutenant. Yeah,
like the Nazgul in Lord of the Rings. They cannot betray Sauron.
Correct.
They have free will, but they also are enslaved, like body and soul. You know, they're kind of like a paradox. But like, if Maljaboa owned Spawn's soul, to my way of thinking, Spawn wouldn't be able to rebel. So I would have to think that he has free will and a soul, but his soul is like marked. It's kind of like, here you go, Marcus. This is your soda, but I'm going to hold on to it.
Well, it
You know what I
depends
mean?
on if he's still making payments on it.
Yeah, like my house. My house is owned by the government until my mortgage is paid off. So there you go.
Unless Doge gives it to you.
Yeah. Oh, let's go.
So in my luck, I'm gonna have my house paid off before they actually do that.
I know. So anyway, let's. So I think that's. Anyway, so does Ghost Rider have a soul? I think Johnny Blaze does.
Johnny Blaze has a soul. Danny Kitch has a soul. Whether or not the Ghost Rider entity has a soul,
I don't think it works like that. I think Ghost Rider and Johnny Blaze, no, they're separate. Johnny Blaze disappears, Ghost Rider comes out. I think it's two different things.
oh yeah, they're definitely two different things. But it's like, is Ghost Rider? I always assumed like, oh, okay, Ghost Rider is a fallen angel or some sort of like.
So let's get into that now. It's Zarathos is the name of the or however you pronounce it. I always said Zarathos, but
I think
Yeah.
that's it.
Z-Dog.
Z-Dog. Let's call him Z-Dog.
And that he's just like a flaming skeleton that they basically housed him in Johnny's
That
Johnny
last
Blaze's
issue.
body. Now, so in later stories, he's a fallen angel. In earlier stories, he's a demon. You know, they
Well,
always seem to do that.
I like the idea of like it was the angel of vengeance, right?
Yeah,
it was
I
like
like
the
that.
angel of vengeance that like becomes like corrupted somehow.
Yeah, that's what I thought it was too.
Did they
Yeah.
ever really explore in the comics like what really happens to the human host when Ghost Rider appears?
That's another good question of like, where does Danny go? Do they go to hell? Are
In
they
the
sitting in a
movie-
white room? Like where the
In the
fuck
movie,
are they?
they show Nicolas Cage and they show his skin melting and burning off.
Right.
But does it just come back? I mean, is
Scratching at
this
the
a
door.
physical thing? Is it like I don't know, like the Century where they just kind of swap places? I mean, I haven't read every Ghost Rider ever, but the few that I've read, I've never really seen them explain that.
Right.
It seems like in the comic book it's definitely two, but in the movies it seemed like Nicolas Cage started to like kind of come out.
Right.
That's
Isn't
it.
that second
Take
one? He's like
control.
kind of behaving maybe. I don't know.
Now I did like this. I did like the action filming and stuff of the second one.
Second one's good. First one, not so much, but I did enjoy the second one.
Well,
So,
then I saw how they made it, and I was like, the cameraman was a complete and utter crazy. I mean, some of that stuff he was doing on those cliffs, I was like, you got to be insane.
I mean, it was also cool. I mean, you're talking about Ghost Rider. It was like he's riding on like a dump truck in the movie, and he
Yeah.
like infuses his hellfire into the dump truck, and the dump truck becomes like a hell dump truck.
Yeah, I thought that
It was like whatever vehicle he was using.
yeah,
That's
well, that's another thing is the Rick. Was it Rick Reyes? He had like a hot.
Robbie Reyes.
You know, he had a car, and then Carter Slade had a horse. So like that's like one
Yeah,
of the
dude.
Ghost Rider.
And Elliot Ghost Rider was the shit. I like that.
You know,
was
like
badass.
it seems like Ghost Rider has like whatever vehicle is like in the collective unconscious of the time, you know. So I can picture now, like Ghost Rider, what would he be on? Like a little like those fat people cars, you know, that the fat people have.
like a Segway.
You know, like you see all those big fat ladies in Walmart.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you mean
I
Little
ride those
rascal.
things. I ride
Oh,
those
that's
things.
the cart?
I cannot infuse it with my hellfire. No, I cannot.
Yeah. So okay. So what kind of scenario do you think it envisioned that would be a Ghost Rider versus Spawn?
It had to take place in hell.
No,
I think it's a classic situation where Spawn's sitting in an alley and Ghost Rider just like rides into town.
And what Spawn thinks he's one of the Hellspawn come to get him,
no, they're going after the same person.
Ooh, there you go.
you know.
Yeah.
And then I think they would just set each other off because they're too similar. Like
I think they'd be going after the
I
same.
tend to be, you know, I'm good, but I'm from evil. You're good. I think that would set off like their hell senses.
I think what happened is you have the same guy they're after, and they come across each other and they don't back down from each other.
Okay. So
No.
There should also be a sense of like, yo, both of our powers are coming from the same place. Maybe there's like a hesitation in fighting.
They're both
Right.
going after Marvel Comics for disrespecting Rob Liefeld.
Yeah. But you know what I mean? It's like, hey, they both show up and it's like, oh, I'm Spawn. I'm from hell. I could tell you're Ghost Rider. You're from hell. Should we be fighting? We're both from hell. What's the deal? Okay,
Well, why
no, we
not?
should be fighting.
Let's
all
hold
the
hands
Spawn's
and sing
enemies are
Kumbaya.
other spawns, right? You know, and Ghost Rider fights other demons. So I just think this would be like, all right, this is just another day of the week for me. I'm going to fight another hell creature.
Okay.
So the question is, all right, so they start fighting. You know, obviously, Spawn, probably starts firing his guns at him, and guns don't do anything to a.
Maybe it'll be a chain off. They both got chains.
Okay, so
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
right. Danny
I think you'd have a thing with, especially with the chains, especially Spawn's chains, which are alive.
And then the soundtrack can be Unchained Melody. Be cool.
So I think quickly they would realize that.
Unchain my heart.
Yeah, there you go. Right away they would, guns wouldn't do anything, so Spawn would have to throw
Chain
his
of
guns.
Fools, Aretha Franklin.
And I think without drawing power, either version of Ghost Rider would overpower Spawn, because it's been established that he has, he's lifted cars and thrown cars.
Yeah, but I think if he's going to go up against Ghost Rider, he's not going to hold back.
Right. So he's pulling into the clicker.
Yeah.
So where do we go from there? Like I think Ghost Rider would hit him with some hellfire, and
that wouldn't do anything to him because of course his suit's going to protect him from it.
Hey, John, thanks for having me on, man. I got to bounce. I'll see you guys tomorrow.
Yeah, I actually got a boogie.
Okay.
But yeah, I would think the suit would protect him from the hellfire because that's what the suit's from.
I got a boogie, guys.
You don't. Let's see, Matt. You don't think? Why can't I remember Spawn's real name?
Okay, I'm still here.
Al Simmons.
Al Simmons. You don't think Al would be affected by guilt or anything like that?
No, because you have to understand something. He's as Spawn when he was coming back out, he had to relive everything. So he's already gone through it. So he's already accepted it. So that the fire is not going to really affect him. I think in the end it would be a draw, but I think Spawn would be able to very much hold his own against Ghost Rider.
I always felt like Spawn was more. My feeling is that Spawn is more powerful than Ghost Rider.
He may be.
He has a lot of undefined powers to me. Like his ape is alive,
Yeah. Well, his whole suit's alive. That's what I was saying. And with that being said, with the suit and stuff, but I think in the end it would come down to a draw. I don't think Al would actually take him out because of, especially if they were going after the same person. You know what I'm saying?
I don't care about the other person. I just care about them fighting.
Well, what I'm saying is, so say it's like Billy, the crazy guy that was raping and killing kids. If they both went after him, I don't think they would be fighting themselves very long.
That's not a good scenario for this. We got to have a scenario where they actually want to fight each other. Them going after a third person who deserves to be killed, then they kill him and they move on. So I don't care about Billy for the purposes of this fight.
Well, one could be protecting Rob Liefeld, and the other one is from Marvel wants to go after Rob Liefeld. So that would be a possibility.
That's funny. Spawn is already in hell, so the penance stare is useless. Zarathos for the win. Oscar always has some good comments. Johnny King of Hell, Court, which there's at least 4 different versions of Ghost Rider, but like
at least if not more.
I legitimately don't know. So I'm asking the chat, unless Marcus and James, you have a definitive. I really don't know.
It's a draw.
I said it was a draw, but I do agree with Marcus that Spawn is more powerful. But I don't think he would actually pull the trigger on Ghost Rider.
You're looking at personality-wise, but we're going to take the personalities out. So
if we're going to take personalities out and just go straight,
the penance won't work.
Spawn's going to
Hellfire won't work.
Physically,
Ghost Rider's stronger, which we've always cared about. That one really strong than the other. But if Spawn turns on the clock, he can easily get stronger than Ghost Rider. So basically, Spawn, if his life is on the line and Ghost Rider is about to kill him, He's gonna
Yeah.
he's gonna do whatever he has to do, and if he has to take a little life off at the end to survive the
Yeah.
battle, he'll probably
That
do
to
that.
me, that to me is this is so nerdy that I'm going to talk about this, but that is the key. I do see them as like an equal. Like I think Ghost Rider is physically stronger, but I think Spawn has more like
Very similar
crazy
characters.
powers and everything. So I could see them using their chains, wrapping each other. Like whether or not Spawn gets hit with Ghost, whether Hellfire effect is a big deal. So it comes down to their sponsors. Like, is Zarathos more powerful than Maljaboa?
I don't think so.
And that's the original Spawn. The second Spawn wasn't Zarathos, though.
Oh,
The one thing about,
I mean, the
Ghost-
second
one thing
the
about
second
Ghost
Spawn
Rider,
wasn't Melboja.
two different. Yeah, I know. I misspoke. Sorry.
yes. Can you kill any of those? This is all good.
Yeah, that's a good.
Like
question.
so I think all three of us agree that at some point Spawn would have to use
Let loose.
to tip the tide. Now is
That's what I'm thinking.
yeah. So would but like is that enough to overpower Zarathos? I really don't know. So guys, like the chat, I see it looks pretty split. I see Tony Grigo is saying Ghost Rider, and plus he's more uses power close to Spawn. He's going to hell. I thought I saw somebody else. People saying Maljaboa is just middle management in hell.
Okay, well,
but
I
Zarathos
really think that the god of Zarathos, or even Mephisto, is powering him up, and they come and help him. Yes.
This is something we need to talk about now. It's originally it was Satan that gave Ghost Rider his powers, right? And
That's
then
right.
later on, didn't they say that it was really Mephisto?
Mephisto. Well, that's the Satan in Marvel.
Right.
At some point, they wanted to consolidate all the different Satans
Right.
they had. They had about 4 of them.
So it was Mephisto that gave him his powers. So so wouldn't it really boil down to who would win, Maljaboa or Mephisto?
I don't know.
It was pretty powerful.
That's a Holden mother. That's a Holden.
Right. Right, because ultimately Spawn's drawn power from Maljaboa and Ghost Rider's drawn power from Mephisto. So I got to look at like I don't know. I don't know. Yeah, Henry Rollins has a Ghost Rider, a motorcycle hero. I don't know. I'm falling out of love with Henry Rollins. He gets me annoyed. So I keep going back and forth, and I literally this is the first time I can't. So I'm hoping somebody in the comments or James or Marcus, you guys got something.
Well, I said what I thought. I said that.
I'm thinking Spawn would if after taking everything out of subject, I think Spawn would take Ghost Rider.
You think he would have to drain his meter?
Yeah, he'd have to.
I'm going to ask about the meter a little bit then. So can he use a little bit of the meter, or does he have to use all the meter and almost die and then have to rebuild at the end of every issue?
No. He can. The meter goes by how much power he uses.
Right, that's what I thought.
So it basically goes real small if he doesn't use very much, and then if he does something like blow up a building or something, it goes a little bigger. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Okay. That's exactly what I thought. So
yeah. So
my feeling is what I said. He, Ghost Rider is about to finish him, and he gets desperate and uses the meter, and now, he makes a comeback. He doesn't want to use the meter for very long, but it might serve his purposes for the next, say, 7 minutes.
Yeah. This is a tough one. I think if Spawn has to draw upon the powers that he doesn't want to win, and in that sense, like they both kind of lose. That's the way I look at it. Zareth. So High Lord Zart says Mephisto is stronger. Mal's lower level than the devil in the Spawn universe.
But does Mephisto come up and give Ghost Rider extra powers? Have we ever seen that happen?
No. If anything, Ghost Rider is always at odds with Mephisto.
Well, he wanted to fight Satan to get his soul back. That was the whole idea of the first 12 issues of the comic.
Right. So I don't know. I'm starting to lean towards Spawn.
Yep.
I'm starting to lean towards Spawn. I think James is winning me over. Not that it was kind of difficult, but just because Spawn has that that extra gas tank that he could pull on.
I think that I found that these characters are way more similar than I thought.
Yeah.
Like super similar. Their origins are similar. The legacy. There's been Ghost Riders through the years.
I think they're very similar, but
Ghost Rider's cooler.
he's not gonna.
He's got a motorcycle. He's cooler.
Well, although Gunslinger song, we drew that. That was pretty cool. He's not easy to draw, but he was cool.
I wonder if Todd McFarlane like refrains from having Spawn riding a motorcycle just for copyright reasons. You know.
Well,
he's been on a wait a minute. No. He's been on a motorcycle once.
Oh, he has been? Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, Spawn's mask and movements are not unlike Spider-Man, but then you get the mask, and then Deadpool does look exactly like Spider-Man, down to the colors, without the webs. There's a lot of close things there.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm going to say Spawn unless the people in the chat could really come up with good. But I do think this is probably the closest fight. The more that I think about it, and I think I think it's not like, okay, I won, yay, let's go get ice cream. I think I won, and then he turns around and Mal Jabot is like, let's go. You know, you use too much power. Like, you are on the threshold right now. You know.
Right. That's exactly how I think.
So now we're at. Yeah. I'm gonna call. What do you say, Marcus?
I think Spawn wins.
Okay, James, what do you say?
Spawn.
Yeah, I don't want to because I like
think it's close, but I think it's Spawn.
I think
it's the penance stare doesn't work on him. I mean, a lot of the things that make go, other than physically strength, a lot of things that Ghost Rider uses on doesn't. I mean, you can wrap up in chains, but then both chains will get. They can spend a whole issue untangling their chains. You know.
Yeah.
It's just get all connected.
So these are some that I wrote down. I had Cyborg versus Machine Man, Nick Fury versus Jonah Hex, Thanos versus Darkseid. And it's funny because on Twitter right now, some other people have been talking Thanos versus Darkseid, and
I saw that. Yeah,
it's got me thinking about it. And then Savage Dragon versus Wolverine. So we got
Savage Dragon
versus Wolverine.
Yeah,
that's interesting.
We got Metamorpho versus Plastic Man.
I mean, Savage Dragon versus the Hulk. I think, right? Isn't Savage Dragon super strong?
Yeah, but the Hulk, Wolverine fought the Hulk. You know,
kind of. Yeah.
Catwoman versus Black Widow.
Now, and at the end of that one would not be a win or lose situation. If we do it right, we will all win.
They undress each other. Robin, Dick Grayson versus Spider-Man.
Wow.
Rogue versus Parasite. Yeah,
that one's really.
Ooh, that would be I think Rogue would win because she's basically Supergirl with absorption.
We can't speculate on who would win, otherwise
she's hot, though. You know, the hotter chick wins.
Hot chick always wins.
Perfect 10 versus Rogue. There you go.
If I was going to do Rogue, I'd do her versus Power Girl.
Rogue versus Power Girl. Now, if Rogue touches Power Girl, does Rogue's boob enlarge?
Keep her gloves on.
Rogue's boobs are pretty big too, though. You know, depending on who's drawing them.
Tony Grigo says G8.
Oh, I thought of something with Black Hawk.
Who's G8? I don't know who G8 is.
What was I thought something versus Airboy versus Black Hawk. That was my thing last week.
Teen Titans versus the X-Men.
That's not.
I've got that book. I've got that book.
Absorbing Man versus Grunge.
Okay, I don't know enough about Grunge, but I would have to learn.
Absorbing Man versus Rogue.
Wow, that's interesting.
Wow, Tony, that one just kind of made me pause for a second, thinking about the possibilities of that.
Well, it could not be Savage Land Rogue. Rogue has to have some. They can't. There's too much skin between the two of them.
Yeah,
I don't think Absorbing Man ever wore a shirt.
Yeah, he's always Crusher Creel must not be affected by the elements. RRT for $5. What do you think of the FF trailer? I thought it was hopeful, maybe not comic book accurate, but more right than wrong. I tweeted on it. I said, I love the retro futurism. It works really well for the Fantastic Four. I love that it's kind of set in the 60s. That being said, I love the look of Herbie. I think all four actors aren't right. there's just something. I think everybody agrees that Pedro Pascal is not right. I'm the only person I know that just doesn't like her. As I can't think of the actress.
No, I think other people questioned her.
Well, here's the thing about this movie that everybody needs to understand. Pedro Pascal was not the first choice. He wasn't the second choice. He wasn't the third choice.
Yeah,
He wasn't even the seventh choice.
Yeah,
That's right. 7 actors turned it down before they went to Pedro Pascal. He was the last choice.
Yeah.
Okay, that's the honest truth on that. So yeah, they had problems getting, because a lot of the actors were like going, read the script and they were like going, nope, nope, nope.
Vanessa Kirby is a good-looking woman, but she's too harsh-looking to be Susan Storm, who I always thought.
I think what we're due, and it goes for the Superman as well. It's hard for us to. These are called a teaser trailer for a reason,
right.
And so we don't know. Like, there's a lot of mind reading. I cringe when I hear somebody. Well, it must mean this is happening, and it must mean that is happening.
Yeah,
and I'm like,
the thing about it is even with the Superman trailers and stuff like that, I need to see more. Do I plan on going to see both movies? Yes, I do.
Trailer.
But
I kind of got a little excited because I kind of
liked
it, but
I liked the Fantastic Four trailer better than I did the Superman trailers.
I did too.
Me
But
too.
what I did like about the things looks good. It looks like the Thing.
But that ain't his voice.
Yeah,
See,
but
there you go again.
the voice. That's like the easiest thing ever.
I mean,
I like his attitude though. I think the voice is bad.
so used to somebody doing the voice, and when they actually when they actually shoot it for real life, not cartoon or anything, and you get the guy, the voice doesn't match up, and you're like, oh, I don't like this. Well, I mean, it happens.
You know what's really nice?
He doesn't have a Brooklyn accent, and it's not gravelly.
They talked a lot about family in it, so that was really positive. Like that's the main thing nobody ever understands about these things. So that was good.
And they didn't show the female Silver Surfer because they know they don't want to tank the movie.
No, I love the female surfer. That's awesome. Naked chick, come on.
But
and they're not race swapping her. That's just Shalabal.
So
a naked chick is Silver Surfer. That can be only good.
It's
I'm kidding. Don't take me serious.
So I've been burnt before, so I'm cautious.
I agree. I don't disagree with you at all. I'm just saying.
That's how I feel about.
I think
I will say this: it looks like Superman may be delayed.
No, I want to see more of it.
Well, the reason the Superman movie may be delayed is Schuster's estate has filed a lawsuit to stop it for being distributed for right now.
I don't think
that's actually going to court. So it may be delayed for a while.
Well, but
wait and see.
So, what do you guys think for next week? What's clobbering time for next week? I'm looking back at Oscar because Oscar's thinking.
Oscar he's thinking.
Oh, for next week, who'd be something I don't want to see.
Oscar, what do you think? You always have good ones.
I got one for you.
Okay.
I'm gonna do it. Mr. Fantastic versus Plastic Man.
We did that one already.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry, I missed it.
Okay.
I forgot who won though.
Plastic Man. Unless they're fighting in a laboratory with all the gadgets, I think Plastic Man is just too. He has more powers than Reed Richards.
That's true. I remember that. Reed Richards just basically stretched. That's right.
Right.
I remember now.
Oh, something drives me nuts. Somebody put a picture, like, how come we didn't see Pedro Pascal doing this, and they showed Reed Richards opening his head and letting a bullet pass by. He stretches. He's not Play-Doh. He can't do that. He doesn't have the power to make.
I think Kirby had him do that. You know what? Back then, the powers changed every issue.
Yeah.
But I don't think he did that generally. You never saw Reed really stretch his neck out a whole lot. In fact, there would be issues where he never stretched at all.
Okay, I'm going to throw one out for you.
Okay.
Cyberforce versus X-Men.
What do you guys think of the chat? I don't know anything about Cyberforce.
I'd have to read up on Cyberforce as well.
And, we'd have to, because X-Men is an army at this point. They could take out anybody. There's got to be.
I'll simplify it. Ripclaw versus Wolverine.
What do you guys think? Chat, Rip.
Sure, we could do that one.
If we're gonna do Wolverine, I'd rather do Savage Dragon versus Wolverine, but Ripclaw,
We could do
Batman
Savage
versus
Dragon.
Sherlock Holmes. Yeah, who's Ripclaw? Never heard of Cyberforce. Yeah,
Cyberforce, that's Ripclaw.
Colossus versus Fairchild.
No, Fairchild
Oscar.
versus
Oscar's gotta
She-Hulk.
come in more often.
Fairchild versus She-Hulk is a good one. I was gonna say Fairchild versus Rogue, but Rogue would win because both their clothes always fall off, and then Fairchild's gonna get absorbed.
Well,
Yeah,
Fairchild's
right.
clothes gets blown off pretty well too.
That's what I'm saying. Fairchild's clothes always fall off. and
Yeah,
Rogue-
She-Hulk and Fairchild. That's not bad. That's kind of similar character, right?
Captain Nazi versus the Red Skull.
Are we allowed to say Nazi that many times on YouTube?
We'll find out. We'll find out.
I'll wear an orange wig for that one.
Hate Monger versus Adolf Hitler.
Hate Monger was Adolf
Yeah,
Hitler.
they're the same person. Yeah, there you go.
Boy, I remembered that.
Hitler versus Stalin.
Okay, here we go. I'm gonna throw a wrench in this.
I'm gonna use
Being
mouse.
the Merciless versus Doctor Doom.
Oh, you just reminded me this. Not in a fight, because Lex Luthor versus Doctor
Doom?
Doom, but not in a fight because Doom is going to destroy it.
You're
Doom.
talking about who's the more sneaky or who's the more cunning?
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
That would be good. That would be really good.
Okay, so what do you guys think about that? Lex Luthor, Doctor Doom, but not. Let's be realistic. Doctor Doom is going to crush Lex physically, magically, technologically. But I'm talking like as a more sinister.
I'm
Cunning,
talking the way I look at Doctor Doom versus Luthor. It wouldn't be a stand-up fight. It'd be
don't speculate now. Don't.
But if Luther's wearing his green armor from the 70s,
How about that? So next week we'll do Lex Luthor versus Doom in a battle of intellect. Good succinct.
oh, I like that.
I like that.
Okay, we'll do that one, and then I really got to listen to Oscar. He's starting to think that I'm not listening.
You ignore him, and he won't color for you, so you will slow down.
You can only do Rogue against characters who aren't alive, robots or Wonder Man, or have
No,
absorbed.
Rogue.
She absorbed Wonder Man she literally absorbed him.
Yeah, she actually got one. Yeah, I remember that one.
She slurped him up like a strand of spaghetti at one point.
Yeah, she got her pretty good.
All right, so next week it'll be Lex Luthor versus Doctor Doom.
Okay,
And
I like that.
literally
That's
have
a good
to
one.
text my wife right now because she makes the little thumbnails, and if I don't, I forget, and then I
She
gotta
makes the little thumb, but God bless her.
Yeah.
then I gotta watch this, and I hate watching myself. I never watch any of my
I don't watch. You know what? I never watch it. I never go back to the drawing shoes. Ever watch myself? And if I click on it by accident, I see my face. I go, ah.
Yeah, me too. MODOK versus Hector Hammond. The battle of the gigantic heads. Yeah,
I have to set up a thing, and so I can be like James, and you can just see what I'm drawing and not see me.
yeah.
I only have one camera.
I
Oh,
just
I know, so
texted
do
my
I.
wife Lex Luthor versus Doctor Doom, and she just responded, "Nerds versus dorks."
That's fair. Nerds win. Dorks are dorky.
It depends on which, we save Tony. Save this for next week. Save this for next week. You know, the first time Rogan, her first appearance fought Wonder Man, she couldn't absorb his power. Again, that's because 20 years.
They didn't have her fleshed
Well,
out.
20 years later, yeah. And they hadn't decided that Wonder Man was an all ionic
Right.
energy by then.
I mean, when-
It makes sense that he was ionic energy from Avengers 9, and he never really died, but they didn't really decide that till
way I could-
Rez's run.
The way we could say this is Rogue. Rogue leveled up.
oh, she really did level up, especially when she got a hold of Ms. Marvel.
Living
Wow.
Laser versus Mirror Man. Storm versus Weather Wizard. These are all good ones.
That was the one where
I thought of a good one. The Blob versus Captain Underpants.
oh yeah, my kids used to read Captain Underpants.
Does he have any powers? That kid? I never read. those.
It's the same guy who does Dogman. He has whatever powers those little kids give him. The
Yeah,
idea
yeah.
of Dogman and Captain Underpants is the two little kids create the comics, and that's them doing the comic.
Yeah. Oh, it's hilarious. The
Right.
Captain Underpants. Oh my
Yeah.
god, that character's hilarious.
I made a video on is Dogman a comic book?
It's a
And
comic book.
It's a comic book. It's not a traditional, direct market, but it is. It's
But
word
his Dave Pinkley's two characters are the ones who draw the comic. That's his.
and
they
not
keep-
only is it a comic,
Yeah,
But
the
I'm saying
stick is. The
it's
stick
very
is-
important because it's getting kids to read comics, and
Yeah.
so now little first graders, second graders, third graders will graduate to something else. Unfortunately, there's no step from Dogman. There should be like a Marvel Adventures comic, and
Well,
then
they used to have Power Pack.
right, they used to.
Yeah, but that was in the regular Marvel universe too, though. Power
Yeah,
Pack.
Power Pack was in the regular Marvel universe, and I mean they were little kids.
Right. So Aura
Yeah.
asked, why can't Robe absorb magic? Juggernaut's powers.
No, why can't she absorb? Because she did. She got Juggernauts.
She did absorb.
Yeah, but they got his. She grabbed him by the foot. They ripped his helmet off, and she grabbed him.
Dogman is cool. Gets kids
Hard
to
to
read.
get
Yeah,
that helmet off.
I agree. Dogman. It's funny because a couple of people like, no, Dogman's not a comic. Dogman is
It's
absolutely.
a comic. It's not sold in comic stores.
It's a
That's
comic.
like saying you had that guy on who does the comics, mythological comics. Remember him?
Oh yeah. Tim O'Connor. Yeah.
Right. So what he does is comics. They weren't distributed at the time in the comic stores, but they were comics.
Right.
That's ridiculous.
They're absolutely comics. If it's sequential art, if it follows all the rules, it's comic. It's little kids comics. Maybe you don't like it, but it's
It's
comic.
comics.
But it's not.
Now,
It's not saving the comic. It's not how Richard Johnston says comic books are doing good because
right. You have to separate the Raymond Teller guy or whatever and Dave Pinkley's Dogman comics from the distrib. We're talking about
Right.
that Diamond's going to go out of business type of thing. That's a separate comic. Separate.
Right.
It's a whole separate audience. You shouldn't be. You can't mush them together.
So who would win in a fight, Rich Johnson or Richard C. Meyer?
Oh, Richard C. Meyer toured. He was in the Army and in the Marines. I know we forget when we listen to him, but
And the Coast Guard, yeah.
he's got to have some sort of toughness about him that we don't hear. And
Yeah.
He must be a tough dude in some ways.
Yeah, I wouldn't mess with anybody in the middle. I don't want to mess with anybody. So there you go.
Those days are over, huh, John?
Those are over. Unless we're on mass transit, then I go berserk. But so anyway, so next week we'll have a battle of intellect, Dr. Doom versus Lex Luthor. You can't say he's going to build a robot and stab Lex Luthor in the face. That's not what we're talking about. We're talking about like just,
I like Tony Great
plans.
Lassie versus Tintin, but versus Rex the Wonder Dog.
There you go. They all just chase.
Comics. Rex the Wonder Dog.
I'm going to shut it down, guys. This was a lot of fun.
Hey, John.
Yeah, no problem. There's a lot, I love your drawing. I'm gonna make your drawing big if you want to.
Yeah,
show.
we'll go big. So I can pull this out. So I can let you guys see what it did.
It's like the heat miser with the little heat misers, and they're about to sing.
Yeah, they're really good.
Oh my god, that's too funny.
Yeah.
I like that.
So say her name again.
Different.
Efrat. And are they just like henchmen, or do they all have names?
No, I haven't got them named yet. They're basically she can summon them. They're fire spirits.
Okay.
And
So she's like a fire genie.
she's a fire elementalist,
Yeah.
which means and of course her weaknesses is ice and water. So it's one of those things.
Is she a super villain, superhero?
No, she's a hero.
Okay. And you're gonna use her in what, like a studio challenge with Don?
No. What we're doing is, so Marcus is working on a character. Don's already got his character done. Omar's doing his character, and Duck's doing his character, and we're going to put all the characters together to see if we can make a book out of it.
Okay.
So
Marcus,
this is my character.
I do have to come up with another character. I might have to borrow one from John. I don't know.
Dude, I only worked on this for 4 days. I came up with her in 4 days
there you go.
and everything.
I drive a lot.
That's why everybody's saying I'm going to end up writing the book. So I'm like, okay, I can do it.
You are probably going to end up writing the book.
Okay, that sounds fun. Hello Marvel versus Hades DC. That's pretty cool. That's pretty.
That's
cool.
not bad. I like that.
Oh, that's not bad at
Good one,
all.
Universe.
or Hella Marvel versus Ares from George Perez's Wonder Woman. Yeah, I don't know. That's a good one. Anything with Hella. I love Hella.
Well, we could do Hercules and Heracles from George Perez's Wonder Woman. The good-hearted, goofy Hercules versus the rapist,
Yeah.
the evil rapist Heracles.
Or the mythologically accurate Hercules. You know.
Well, yeah, I know.
All right. Well, I'm going to shut it down, guys. Thanks a lot.
All right. Good night.
All right. Take care.
So James and Marcus will be on the studio tomorrow, 7:00 Eastern Standard
7
Time.
o'clock. We'll be joining Perfect 10, which you can watch us. Well, we're on pretty late, but you can go right over and watch John launch.
We're going to launch.
Dave brings Perfect 10 new campaign at what's that going to be at 9?
That's going to be at 9 Eastern Standard Time tomorrow. So we'll do that, and who knows how long it's going to last, whatever. And then Sunday back here I'm going to show Rome Eternal. I can't find my first copy, so I had to get a second copy and talk about this. Excellent colors, Oscar.
Well, if you find the second copy, you can sell the first one on eBay instead of keeping two of them, make a little money back.
Yeah. Somebody's going to pay $7 shipping to buy a $3 comic that they could get in a comic book store.
If they can't find it, they will.
Well, I can't find it.
You know,
It's somewhere in one of these long boxes, but maybe I will.
I know.
See you guys.
All
Bye-bye.
right. Good night, John. Thank you. Good night, James. We'll see.